Welcome to another edition of Bowie TV's Youth, Community, and Lifestyle. During this hour, we're bringing you highlights from some of our shows focused on youth, community, and lifestyle. Please be sure to give us a follow on all of our social platforms. First up on How to Steam Your Dreams, tune in to more highlight clips from the 2025 Wavebreakers Cup ahead of the recap of the 2025 DMV Ocean Bowl Games. Then on the BE Collective Plus, we tune into this second part of the recap of the Sports Business and NIL Education Summit at Hampton University. Next on the Spotlight DMV, entrepreneur Pinky Cole sits down with Angie Ange for a refreshing conversation on this last part. Finally, on the Hair Kitchen, we take a look at the sit down with artist Larry Poncho Brown, where he discusses what motivates his work on part 3. Thank you for tuning into this week's programming of Bowie TV's Youth, Community, and Lifestyle.
Securing the venue, getting the coaches, getting all of these pieces, you understand operations. You understand at a small level game day operations. So I'll use myself as an example. This event, right? This event came from an experience that I had working in sponsorship activation for professional teams. So understanding where sponsors are supposed to go, what they're supposed to have, what we agreed that they would receive throughout the purpose of the event. And so if y'all are able to do that for hosting a camp or hosting a clinic, these are all tangible skills that recruiters are looking for. Working in sports, they're already, you being an athlete, they're gonna give you kind of that heads up because they're like, oh, he's an athlete, they're probably coachable, or she's probably coachable. If they're an athlete, we know that they understand time management to some degree because you had to go to class, you had to go to practice.
Bowie television watchers, this is Candy Waller checking in again at my home by the sea, Hampton University. I am standing here still at the Sports Business Summit in NIL. We're learning all things on those topics. I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves. Go right ahead.
How y'all doing? My name is Noah Cologne. I'm a first-year sports management major, student athlete. I play football.
My name is Nari Means. I'm a first-year sports management major as well, and I play football as well, too.
So I know you were saying that you've been here so far. We're wrapping up now, the third session?
Yes, ma'am.
So give us some of your initial instant reactions of what you've learned so far.
So the first one was about a little bit of, her name was, I think it was Dr. Lewis. It was really about just the, I wanted to say like the Zen side of everything that goes on as just anything. Student athlete, I feel like, was the main part of it, actually. She kind of did like a little break where it was like 90 seconds of peace, and it honestly caught up to me extremely well. And honestly, a lot of the stuff she was talking about, I actually appreciate it because she actually cares about the mental health side of especially student athletes, and stuff that a lot of the us student athletes go through. And honestly, to see somebody that cares about it that much, honestly, is something good to see. The second, it was actually two people. They were talking about like their opportunities that they made and stuff. And I think one of them was a graduate here. You know, him and her, they had what they had to talk about was actually good. They were able to like make us interact with each other. You know, figure out certain stuff that could help us. You know, promote ourselves as in just fashion. You know, if it's on game day, wearing a certain amount of clothes or certain clothing that is special to you, and you know, making it known on any type of social media like TikTok and Instagram. And then the latest one was actually a guy that went to Howard. He's a clothing brand, shop LHP. You know, it was good to hear his story and how he became, you know, known and what he needed to do and how much confidence he had in himself to be able to do that in the real world.
And I was there for the last session as well, and I thought it was super cool how he was able to express like how he started his brand when he first started it in college, and him being in college and him being one of the younger guys, it just and him being in the position that he's in right now, it just goes to show that there's no limits to the stuff that you want to do, whatever. Obviously, he's not too far out of college. He said he graduated in 2021, I believe, so he's still one of the younger guys, and he's just he's doing a good job with his brand. I haven't heard of it before, but I looked it up, and I've definitely seen a couple things before, just seen it around. He works at a lot of colleges, HBCUs and stuff like that, and it's thought it was really cool and good what he was doing as well.
So they did say that some of it is over there. We see it on the table in the background, and it's also in the bookstore. So you all make sure you check it out. Listen, thank you so much. I told you that this would be harmless. You guys were terrific. Thank you so much again. You staying for the rest of the day? You got to go to class?
I'm staying.
Oh, okay, all right, because my session is coming. Anyway, thank you so much.
Good morning, good afternoon. We appreciate you also coming here, continuing to eat and be happy. My name is Dr. Michael Marsh. I'm part of the BE Collective team. I'm CEO and founder of Marsh Athletics. Now, who's excited? Thank you for quite excited. I appreciate it. All right, so now you got some giants up here. Y'all got some strong women up here, okay? They're very humble, and I appreciate that about them. Johnny, start taking notes, okay? So who's excited to hear who they are, because they want to introduce themselves, and they're going to smile and be happy. All right. Who's ready? Who's excited and ready? As soon as you start clapping. There you go. All right now. Ladies, please, tell us who you are, why you're here. Let's get it started. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley Danielle. I am a native of Nashville. Went to Tennessee State University, so another HBCU. I have a nonprofit called ABC Sports Foundation. I work with athletes on nonprofit management, event management, and education. So education is one of the reasons that I am here today. I partner with the Collective, and we put these NIL summits together across different colleges and universities. And we even go down to middle school because as NIL has evolved, you need to know about professional development a lot earlier. That's great.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candy Waller, and I am a graduate of Hampton University. You can see my shirt.
Onyx 5.
Yes, Onyx 5. That's my classmate over there. And I am so happy to be at my home by the sea to share this moment with you all. I am the president of Bowie Television, also the founder and CEO of Seawall Sports and Entertainment. We have a lot to talk about today. And we'll get into kind of like a little bit more of what I do and of course what Ashley does in a moment. But because I'm in media and broadcasting, I'm probably gonna be stuck with the microphone. We talked about that. But I think we wanted to start off this session. This is going to be more of a fireside chat style dialogue. Not just us talking at you all, we're gonna be all conversing together. So I think we wanted to start off with, this is going to be around career pathways in sports, and you can already tell that, you know, Ashley and I have different backgrounds in sports, yet we are very connected in a lot of the work that we do. So you all just go ahead and share with us, what are you interested in sports? What is the role? What is your job, dream job, path that you're thinking you want to take right now?
Anybody want to share? Yes, ma'am.
I want to get into sports media and management. I don't really know, because I'm still kind of trying to kickstart into the industry of sports. So I'm not exactly sure what profession that is, but I definitely want to be in media. Because I love visual storytelling. So, yeah.
Awesome. Anybody? Okay. All right. Okay.
I would also say, I'm still trying to figure it out too, but the two that has my interest is also sports media and sports recruiting.
Okay. Sports media, sports recruiting. Yes, in the back. Okay. Game day operations. Sports attorney. All right. Okay. Yes, right here.
Sports broadcasting.
Okay. Sports broadcasting. All right. Yes.
Sports journalism.
Okay. Sports journalism. All right.
Anybody else want to share? I know a few of y'all were walking in. We're just asking what jobs are you guys looking at in sports? Past college. Yes, ma'am.
Sports marketing.
What else? Coaching. Anybody else want to share right there? I saw a little fist bump with the law. I'm assuming you might want to do something in law? Sports agent. Okay. Like it. You got any thoughts on?
I guess now is the time we're supposed to tell you all what we do.
So, let me get a show of hands. How many of you all want to work directly with a team? Now, do you all know that you can do the same thing without being directly with a team? Okay. How many want to work like directly with the league itself, like the NBA or NFL? So you want to work with the league? Okay, cool. Any thoughts on that?
So a bit of a background about myself, and then I'll pass it back to Ashley so she can share about herself. And we'll try not to be too long-winded because we both have taken non-traditional routes into the sports industry. So what does that mean for me? For myself, when I graduated from Hampton University, I went to grad school. I went straight to grad school. I didn't want to go to work yet, just being honest. And I started in a career in consulting. So I worked for the Big Four, IBM, Deloitte, the MITRE Corporation, as a organizational change management consultant. So I did a lot of stakeholder engagement, public relations, strategic communications, training, facilitation, all of the things. Fast forward a bit more, I've always had a passion for sports. My classmate here, Chris Parker, was on the football team here. I used to work for the football team, specifically with the offensive line coach. And so I took a lot of stats. I paid attention to who they were recruiting and all of those things. I just had a passion for it. And I also just loved the competitiveness of the game from any athlete, right? And I enjoyed talking about it. So I always envisioned myself becoming a sports broadcaster, a sports reporter, and wanting to have my own television show. That is exactly what I do right now. So I went from being a Big Four consultant, rising up the ranks, through corporate America, to using my gifts, my knowledge, skills, and abilities to already know I have transferable skills. Effective communication is exactly what it is. It's talking to you all, it's talking to sports fans, it's interviewing, some of your favorite athletes from the area. It's covering some of the major top sporting events. I do all of that, but I didn't start in the sports industry. I entered in, kind of took a lateral, if you will, into the sports industry, starting out with my own organization, Seawall Sports and Entertainment, and then going to a local television channel in Prince George's County, Maryland, so that's where Bowie TV is based, and then saying, now I'm the president of this channel, and I can continue to do exactly what it is that I love to do, but I've never worked for a sports team. Now, sports teams have their own media, right? They have their own everything, right? But I'm able to spend a lot of my time, and specifically where I spend most of my time now is with the Washington Commanders. I am what they consider an on-the-beat reporter. That means you work there every day, basically, to do journalism, to tell stories, to write, whatever that may be. So that is my non-traditional path into sports, and now I'll pass it to Ashley so she can share with you all what she does.
So I am as non-linear as her. So I actually started out as a cheerleader for the Titans. I quickly realized I did not like that. Didn't want to cheer. I did it 2 years. First year was just to make sure it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Second year was just as bad as a veteran. I then asked my coach, I respected her, and said, hey, how did you get to where you are? So she said, anytime you get booked for an appearance, ask who brought you there. So that's what I started to do. I opened my mouth, what do you have available? So I talked my way into working at ESPN Radio in Nashville as I was working the boards, I was producing shows, and I had no experience. I'm telling you, none. So I had to learn the boards, work that, did that for about 1.5 years, then got moved to producing a few shows with some Titans players. They realized my personality was pretty big, said you need to be outside talking to people, so I worked I had a street team. So whenever you go to a game, you see those people that are engaging with you, hey, spin the wheel, get a prize, come in, do stuff like that. That's what I was doing, but I had a bunch of other people that I was overseeing to make sure that everyone has a great game day experience. Fast forward that a little bit, I started to do game day operations with the Titans. So whenever you're at a game, you see contests on the field where they're like, throw the football in the tire, kiss cam, all that stuff. Those things happen with a huge team in the back end. So I've heard several of you kind of say some of those jobs that you wanted to get into that I've already done. Once I was kind of done with that, I just get bored easy. So I ended up going to law school. So I heard a sports attorney over there, and I worked at a sports agency. So I started there in client servicing. I realized very quickly, I don't like booking players' flights. I don't want to deal with their mama. I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. And I really had a great background in event management. So when one of the guys that they hired to do all of the players' football camps at the end of their season, he was going to not do a good job. I told the agents, hey, I bet something's going to happen. And 2 weeks before that first camp, the player was threatening to fire the agent because he said, if he comes to my camp, I'm firing y'all. And they quickly turned to me and said, actually, you told us something was going to happen, and I want you to fix it. So at that point, I had 10 football camps to work with these players in a short period of time, but all of my skills that I acquired from all those random jobs really helped me kind of catapult into that.
And all right, Bowie television watchers, we are still at my home by the sea, Hampton University, here for the Sports Business and NIL Summit, hosted and sponsored by the B Collective. We are having a ball. Well, at least I am.
I am too.
Okay,
I am too.
Yep. So we're going to continue on with initial reactions from the day. But first, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Samuel Young. I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm a liberal studies major, 4th year.
I'm Ari Allen from Durham, North Carolina, liberal studies major, 4th year as well.
Demarius Stewart, 5th year senior from South Highland, Illinois, with a liberal studies major.
All right, so actually this initial reaction would be after the session that I was on with Ashley Danielle from the ABC Sports Foundation. So initial reactions, what did you all think about it and what did you all learn?
I enjoyed it. I learned a lot about first how she got her way into, what was her name again? Ashley, Miss Ashley. How Miss Ashley got into like the sports business side, sports management side of it, being a part of an agency and everything. And then you, with how you got your way into being a reporter in sports, just both of y'all, how y'all got into sports, not the traditional way, you know. You got anything to say?
Yeah, I do. Ms. Kane, that was a good question. I would say it was more of an eye-opener for me. You know, it's always good for me to hear from another black woman's perspective on about getting into the work industry and things of that nature, because my mom, I could see she had it hard. So it's always good to be educated on like the ins and outs and any tips and any nicks and reminders that I can use for my family and other people.
I would say it was very informative. Like she said, she became a lawyer while taking night classes. So she said that took her about 4 years, but she was doing that while she was an agent and taking care of clients. So I thought that was something that was good to take away.
So are you all staying for the rest of it? Still a couple more sessions to
Yes,
go?
ma'am.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you all for your time. I appreciate you
Thank
guys
you.
doing
No problem.
this and being here.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we never really anticipate that our business is going to fall apart. But now you do. You have to look at all angles, and I'm so glad that it happened to me early on, because now I can sit on stages like this and talk to entrepreneurs and say, do what I did or don't do what I did, so that you can do things differently and continue to grow your company. And then the last thing that I'll tell you, I talked to you about talent. But talent is the engine that you need to grow a successful company. And you cannot cut corners on talent. Oftentimes, I used to just hire people off Instagram because they said that they needed a job. LinkedIn is your best friend. LinkedIn. If you are an entrepreneur, you need to be on LinkedIn finding the right people, okay? And it's okay to go scouting people. If they work for somebody else, so what? Scout them. Seek them out. Because I realize your talent is your culture. If you have good talent, you have a great culture. If you have a great culture, you have a great business. If you have a great business model, investors want to invest in your business. Here's the other scenario. If you don't have good talent, you don't have a good culture, people don't want to work for you because they can't stand the leadership, or the leadership don't know what they're doing. And if you don't have a good culture in the business, then it is going to be displayed with your consumer. And if the consumer see that it's all over the place, they will come once or twice, but they're not coming back. And when they stop coming back, guess what? You don't make those dollars. And when you stop losing those dollars, now you can't afford to pay your staff. And when you can't afford to pay your staff, now you cut corners and you half-assing it, and you get people that aren't good for your organization, and they're giving you 75% when you really need 100. So your talent is the gift that keeps on giving. So you gotta make sure that you got the right talent. You gotta make sure that you got your third eye open. You have to make sure that you always pay attention to your business and do not put your name on every single thing in your business. That is the biggest pieces of advice that I can give you when you're growing and scaling a company. Scaling is not the hard part. You can scale all day long, but knowing how to consistently be consistent when you're scaling will make all the difference. So I hope I answered your question, sir. But yes, tons of lessons learned, and I would not trade it for the world. Wouldn't trade it for the world, because let me tell you something. Right after I lost my company and I brought it back, do you know I was on the stage introducing T.D. Jakes and Oprah Winfrey on the stage of 2,000 people, all because of my story and how I lost my company and I brought it back. So every single thing that happens in my journey is by way of reason. And I wrote a book called I Hope You Fail, and we have it out in the lobby. But it really, failure is not what society thinks it is. It's finding the aspirations in the losses. The best lessons I've ever learned is because by society's standard, I may have failed, but it really was just giving me the wherewithal to be smarter, to be stronger, to be wiser. So when I see it happen again, I'm like, been there, done that. I've learned. It was expensive, but guess what? That's the best schooling that I ever had.
I encourage everybody to go find that book. Pages and Volumes is the bookstore. It's a black woman-owned bookstore back there. But go to the Pages and Volumes table to get, I think we have both of your books.
Yes, we got the E-Planks B, because there's kids in here. It's a cookbook with amazing recipes, so yes, get that one too.
Okay, Pages and Volumes in the back. Make sure you check out that book. Before I get to your question though, that leads me to something though. I want to talk about how your personal brand can be impacted by your business brand and the mixing of the two. I'll stick a pin in it because I want to prioritize your question. But I want to speak to that as well. What happens because again, these lawsuits come, these headlines come, But again, we still see you, we still see you making millions, and then people, sometimes can come at you about all of that, and how you just manage the two without losing them both.
Hey, Pinky. Okay, so my question, it kind of tethers, I think, what the young man was asking too. Like, we hear you now, and you are so confident. Like, you know what you know, you're safe in your space. But we also know you have done things that are remarkable, right? And along the journey, my question is, like, when you're starting out on that, what no one has ever done before, right? And you get this imposter syndrome. And when he said, well, how do I know when to start charging? I think, it shows up on that level. For most people, the people I talk to on the ground level, they're like, I don't know what to charge, and when do I start charging? And then for you, like, when do you know to charge forward, right, for the first time? So kind of that imposter syndrome, what gives you that internal, like, I'm going for that thing, it's never been done, but I'm going to do it in spite of?
So you just have to do it. What I've learned is, so let's talk about content creators for a second. Content creators are the new celebrities, right? And it's because they show up authentically as themselves every single day. And because they show up authentically as themselves every single day, they begin to build a community that people want to consume. So the minute that you feel like you have enough of a community where people want to consume it, that is the moment where you should start charging, because there's somebody else in the world who has less people in their community and they're making a lot of money doing it. Another little key that I use, I got a best friend and her name is Tisha. Do y'all know who that is? ChatGPT Tisha. All right? Okay. All right. So what I would do is I always use prompts. So I want everybody who has this question to go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I need to know when is a good time to start charging. How much should I charge? What are they charging in market for the service that I'm offering? Okay? And how much do they charge for this service? And when do I start charging it? And what should that price include? What should I offer them for the price that they are willing to pay? With ChatGPT, and I am a big proponent for AI, okay? AI is the new way. And by the way, I'm gonna give you a little cheat code, write this down. There is an AI called Fixer. Fixer, F-Y-X-E-R, Fixer. What Fixer does is it checks all your emails and puts them in a draft, and it just, entrepreneurs, it makes your life a lot better. So write that down. But you find out what other people are doing. It's like real estate. What are the comps? If they're charging over here $4,500 and y'all are doing the same thing, why not you? And we have to get out of our own head. I think that that's the thing that separates us from our greatness, is because we don't want to post the content, or we don't want to charge. I used to be like that before. I didn't want to charge, but I eventually said, you know what? I know that I have a gift. And I know that I have something special, but there is a flip side to charging. You can't charge people if you don't know the information yourself. You have to do the research. The research is ever flowing. You should always be learning, always be building. And the money that you make from charging people, you should be going to conferences to learn more. You should always have mentors. You should be getting as much information as you can, and getting information that the average consumer has not gotten, so that you can funnel it down. So when I'm in these big rooms, and there's billionaires in these rooms, and these people that have all of these big portfolios, I'm sitting there being a sponge. So when I come back, I can report back the information to people who have not gotten in those rooms yet, but it's the art of the exercise of learning the information so that I can process the information down, and then you'll feel comfortable charging people for it. If you ain't where you want to be on the information, then don't charge. But if you feel like you're an expert and you continue to learn, you are more than within your power to charge when you see other people doing it, one, as a comp, and when you feel confident to know that what you have can't be learned somewhere else.
I love that. Research and investment. Those are the two things I took from what you just said, is the power of doing the research. And then investing in your own education, investing in your own knowledge. So if you have not gone to a conference in whatever it is you're doing, if you have not invested in, if you have a model you're trying to pursue, or you want a restaurant or something you're trying to open, if you haven't researched other restaurants and you're not studying menus, you're not serious. So just remind yourself, like, ask yourself how serious you are about what it is you want to do. Yeah. Pinky, we have to wrap up, and I just can't tell you how, again, just I'm in awe of just your growth, your transparency, and your will. Like that, just you won't be stopped. You can't be stopped. No matter what it is you did, you do. Congratulations on Vogies, by the way.
Thank you.
I do wanna try. Tell us about Vogies, because that's the latest. But then, so I was all excited about Vogies. And you know, now I'm back at DC, so I watch all your stuff. And then I saw like a really bad incident happen at your opening. And I was like, well, wait a minute, what is going on? So tell us about Vogies, but then also tell us about just, again, the power of always kind of sharing, or when can sharing kind of become too much, if it ever is, in your opinion?
Sharing can never become too much. Okay. The problem is that people don't share enough. People aren't transparent enough, right? And the more vulnerable you are and open you are, like if you are who you are offline as you are online, you'd be surprised at how many more opportunities you get, because everybody has this robe on, right? Everybody has a veil, everybody wants to be this thing, but we all got problems. We all stressed out, we all going through stuff, but we all like to live life, and we all like to have fun. And when people can feel like they can relate to you, that is really when you build your community, right? So a part of my vulnerability is, one, because I don't care about the opinions of other people, right? I know who I am and I know whose I am. And that is very critical when you're an entrepreneur, because it ain't always going to be pretty and people aren't always going to praise you. But you get to a space, and I was always there, but it's more critical now than it's ever been, because when I lost my company, you know, you got the voices like, oh, she lost her company, like, that's crazy, that's what she get. So you see those things, but it builds a thick skin that now I'm like, okay, sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but now I get to do what it is without regret, without regard, and people are either going to do two things. They're going to love me or leave me alone, and the people that left me alone, they ain't love me in the first place, and I ain't need them. You know what I mean? So that's very, very important. And to Vogies is like the vegan Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about Vogies because that concept is so special. There was a gap in the market, and I didn't see anybody doing it, which is another tidbit for you as entrepreneurs. Focus on where the gaps are in the market. There's so many opportunities to start new things that nobody else is doing, and you can carve a lane for yourself. So I created Vogies. It's the first all full service vegan sandwich shop that has sliced lunch meat, right? You can make your own sandwiches, and it is fantastic. We got fresh baked bread every day. We're gonna be scaling that business too. So I'm in the season of completion, right? Completing what I started, completing my thoughts. You know, entrepreneurs, we think a lot of thoughts, we got a lot of ideas, completing those ideas, right? Like, where there was a comma, there was a period. Saying no in business, right? Walking in my power and being confident in that power, and I get to do that by way of my businesses, Slutty Vegan, Bar Vegan, and Vogies. And yes, somebody did steal my car out front of my restaurant, and that was the same car that I got hit by the mattress, so that was God telling me that you need to get rid of that car too. So I say all that to say God is better than good, and He will take away the things that you don't need, so that you can reposition yourself for better things to come.
God be screaming at you. But I've had those moments where God was screaming like, go girl, like that's enough already. Yeah. No, that's incredible. Can we give Pinky a big round of applause? Pinky Coleman, what you have built is amazing. What you continue to build is amazing. Again, so much that I hope you all have learned and gained from her just sharing her story. And you know, again, the last thing, like I said, what I wanted to speak to is just that building of your personal brand and your professional brand. To anybody in here, because a lot of us, we're building businesses, we're starting businesses, but then we have ourselves, sometimes you don't know if you should have a personal page and a business page, or do you have both, or how do you populate it? So kind of speak to how you've kind of built both of those. Did you kind of push everything through your personal and then build business, or do them together, and any suggestions you have for people from that, because we're all now, if you're building a business or whatever, everybody's kind of a media company. You gotta kind of see it as that.
Yeah.
It's not just a page, you're kind of like a content creator, so speak a little bit to those two.
So I'll give you a really, really clean formula that I have done and it has worked. So first of all, when I started building Slutty Vegan, I wasn't thinking about my personal profile. I was just building the business. So what I'm sharing with you, I learned along the way so that you can skip a couple steps, right? Past go collect 200. So you build your business page, right? And let your business page be your business page. And your personal page can be the behind the scenes of the business page. That's one model. That's the model that I use. So you see the business here, and then on my personal page, you see the building of that business, right? If you don't want to be the face of the business, because everybody don't want to be the face. So if you don't want to be the face of the business, you build the business here and let the business be the business. And then on your personal page, you show the grunt work of how you're building that business. That's option one. Option two is you embrace being the face of your business. There is nothing wrong with being the spokesperson for your business, and people should absolutely see you growing the brand, waking up every day and talking about how you're learning the business and how you're getting better and how you're opening stores and how you got a new product. Because now you've built a invested-based business where people are invested in you, and because of you, they want to be a part of the business. So they associate the business to you, but there is a fine line with that, right? Because if you're going to be the face of the business, how you move, how you talk, how you act, you have to show up in a certain way. You can't be on the business and you be talking one way, then you go to your personal page and your pants sagging or you cussing on your pet. Like, people connect the dots and they find the thread. So those are the two things that I would say. For me, I build the business on my business page and my personal page. I show the behind the scenes, the struggles, everything that's happening in the business, and I find that works for me, because when people fall in love with the business, then they start peeling back the layers and say, well, who created this genius of a thing? I want to meet that person. And they start looking at your LinkedIn, they start looking at your Instagram, and then they can learn the vision, the visionary behind that business, and then they start following you. What happened with me now is my personal brand is now as big as the business. So I have some things to think about. It's a good problem to have. But when you have those good problems, now you got to feel like, okay, you got to understand, how do I continue to grow both of these empires without merging the two? And if I do merge the two, making sure there's some parallel where it makes sense and it's not overloading each other. Did that make sense, y'all?
Yeah. Made good sense to me. And if people want to keep up with you, if they're not already following,
if you want to follow me, go to Pinky Cole on social media, all social media handles. You can go to Google, skip past the bad stuff. Or you can follow us on social media, Slutty Vegan ATL or Bogies. And I'll be around. I'm excited to see all of y'all great businesses. I'm actually excited to go in the lobby and look at some of the businesses. But I'll be around. If you want some motivation, I always do it on my page. And just a last word, I pray that every single entrepreneur in this building will always get the desire of your heart. And even in the moments when it feels hard, you keep going. Even if it feels uncomfortable, you keep going. Because just a couple of months ago, I almost lost my mind. And I got it right back, and I'm here. So no matter how bad it may look, you can come back from the darkest days in your business. So I wanted to share that with you, and good luck to everybody in your business. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for having me.
There it is, Pinky Cole Haynes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Don't forget, y'all, both of her books. The rest.
And rather than me talking about the back alley, I go through it.
Okay, so I'm gonna change my question. What challenges do artists face that people on the outside, like myself, looking in, may not understand?
They're balancing and fighting against time, because art is like a time travel thing. I can come in my studio and check in at 9 o'clock and time travel for 12 hours with nobody bothering me, just painting. Which means that if you got a real life, children, wife, dog, goldfish, somebody gonna suffer when you in that zone. And if you got to justify to each one of those people why you're doing what you're doing, then there comes the drama. But I'm the kind of person, I ain't never apologize for nothing. It comes with it. You know, you'll learn from watching. I'm not here to attend to everybody's needs, wants, but I am doing this for the bigger picture of taking care of whatever. And so I don't make excuses. People don't make excuses for the jobs they make to take care of what they got to do. I don't make excuses for being an artist to do what I need to do. And so a lot of sacrifices come because it's so time intensive. You know, to create this kind of work means I have to spend a lot of alone time. Most artists spend a lot of alone time. And so people are not conscious of that part. They think we just like Polaroid cameras and we click our eyes and the artwork fall out our behinds. That is
Oh, wow. Is that what people think?
Yes. Most people think it's so instantaneous that they don't think that there's a process that it might take months for a person to finish a piece. It might take, you know, they just don't have an idea because each artist is completely different. And then in my situation, it's like total chaos. Because if I say I did 80 pieces in 14 days, I don't even know what your mind do with that.
Yeah.
I don't care though, because I'm on my own pace at this stage of whatever. So I don't have one style. You got artists that have one style, artists that have multiple styles. I'm a multiple style artist. So I'm just constantly working, but that quiet time helps me resolve other things. And that's the same for most other artists. Selling it, that's something different.
Why is that something different?
And people go into it thinking that all of it comes with every artist. It does not. Most artists are confused. They don't have any kind of rules and regulations to follow because there's no book. There's more than one trajectory, so they don't know what those are. There's some that aspire to be in a museum, don't even know, they don't have a clue. Some of them don't know how you get into other people's houses. How do you get stuff published? There's so many parts of the art business that artists don't know. They just do the work. And so that's a misconception when you see some artists that are popular and out there, and then you see somebody that say, isn't the first thing you're going to say is, you should go to a gallery. You should be doing you. And so we get it from everybody. Folks living vicariously on the sidelines with what they perceive.
Correct.
Is an answer to what we should be doing. And most of the time they don't have a clue.
Yeah. And they haven't done it.
Yeah, so I mean it's one of those things. I am like, it took me years to understand that I'm like an artist whisperer. Because artists come with big egos, man. So you got to deal with the egos, you got to deal with insecurity, you got to deal with all these things, and then you got to deal with the stereotypes that people have of artists. But I've learned that most artists kind of yield to me because of what I've done and my impact in the business. So that means I'm able to get away with saying some things that most people couldn't get away with. And they respect where the words are coming from.
Yes.
I'm a Sagittarius, so it's going to be blunt anyway.
Yes.
As I get older, I'm a little more sensitive to how it's presented because truth can be as honest as it wants to be. And now I lived under that credo for a long time and not realizing I was still hurting people's feelings. But I ain't also here to preserve people's feelings. If you, because I don't come to you with this. If you come and ask me a question, be ready for my answer.
So you just made a comment about, artists not having a blueprint. There's no book that says this is how you do it. And like you made a comment also about the two different paths. They cost the same, but you weren't presented the option and the whys behind it. So is that how you came to creating Raising the Arts?
No, Raising the Arts came from I had a young lady working with me. I've hired many people over the years, only to realize I was a poor manager, and that I hired the wrong people. So if I could trust you and you weren't gonna steal my stuff, I hired you. Not knowing what you do.
Wait, hold on. You can't skip past that. Steal your stuff.
Yeah, it's a primal thing. I have a trust issue with folks being in my space. So the first criteria I gotta have to hire you is I gotta be able to trust you.
But are artists out there stealing people's stuff?
There's artists, there's other people that are in my circle. So I had to kind of watch how I did that. But to get back to your statement, I hired the right person, a woman by the name of Yvette Judge, who brought some secretarial and administrative skills that I had never had for me before. And then we were able to sit down and I could start crafting some of the ideas that I didn't have the time to cultivate. Raising the Arts was one of the things that she helped me cultivate. Because at that point, I had already done some things for nonprofit organizations. But just like I said to you, what happens when you create that pathway? So I created a program called Raising the Arts to as a repetitious move to some deals that I had already done. So I know I could go to a nonprofit, say Big Brothers Big Sisters. I can say, hey, look, y'all know y'all got a scheduled event for a year. I can do a piece on the subject of that you can do for a gala and a fundraiser, and we can print it and y'all can distribute it to your people. I came up with this whole concept of how I can go to any nonprofit organization and make it work because they all have art initiatives. Okay. And I've done 70 plus images. Most artists don't even know what I'm doing. They just see the work and they go, wow, man, you're all over the place. You must never sleep. No, I got proposals on people's desks. I made up a Raising the Arts proposal booklet that shows every piece I ever did for a nonprofit organization. And I worked it out in a way where I can get a commission whether they have the money or don't have the money. Oh, and so for me, I'm more about creating opportunities than I am about waiting for my phone to ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the quarantine? You said 80 pieces in 14 days. I read that also in your book.
And that's non-drug assisted.
Okay, wait a minute, sir.
All right, in 2006, me and my buddy Charles Bibbs, if y'all don't know him, shame on you. Charles Bibbs and I are really good friends. He's my big brother in the artist world, and we just love each other. We love each other. We have man crushes on each other. But it got to the point where we was having a discussion in one of the cities we were traveling to, because at points I would see Charles more than I would actually see my family, because we were doing tours all over the country, whether it be California, Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, New Orleans, Texas. We were driving all over the place to these different shows. So we were at dinner and we're talking about, man, when was the last time you had a chance to do some artwork where you ain't had no distractions? And I was like, man, probably college. And he said, yep, for me, college too. So I said, man, we need to do that. Laugh and giggle. Well, when would you do it? We said, okay, slowest months is August and January. August is people going back to school, ending their vacations, going back to college, yada, yada, yada. January is like, oh, it's after Christmas. We tired anyways. It's the beginning of the year, New Year's resolutions. Ain't nobody doing nothing in January. So we said, that's perfect. So we started our first one, and we had all these elaborate plans. We was going to try to find a location. We were going to find a housing. And the first year, it just wasn't coming together. And we meant well, but he was busy. I was busy. And so he says, look, just come to California. He lives in this palace in California, really, really nice. And he's got a cabana that's it's big enough for 2 people to work in. So I flew to California, stayed at his house, painted in the cabana for our first quarantine. And then we also enlisted Cynthia St. James, who did one of the Kwanzaa stamps. She was in LA. She didn't join us, but she was also tuned in to create artwork for that period. We were going to be there for 31 days. And so we created artwork for 31 days. Now, it wasn't a real quarantine for Charles. And most of the time it wasn't, because if Charles is home, business is popping, his wife is saying, Charles. So he still was able to create a large body of work, even with him not really truly being quarantined. And so since 2006, every January, I have done a quarantine of some sort, either it be isolated with myself at my studio like I am this time, or I will invite 2 other artists to do it with me in one location. I've even done, because of COVID, a virtual one in Springfield, Massachusetts, where we had 12 artists associated with that. And then I'm also got a young group of mentees who are in Ghana who just did one in December. And so this year I decided I would invite individual artists to come in for one day, because I'm telling you, artists can get in your way. But anyway, I said I would invite like maybe 12 artists, come in one day, and they will work 12 hours with me. And that worked out really, really well, because we get to talk and collaborate on some pieces, and technique or tool gets shared. And so this year I made the pledge that I was going to be more about my art than I have been in the past. And so I started off the year on a great momentum, and I'm 80 pieces in right
Wow.
now with more than 15 days to go.
Okay, so is this the first collaboration with Charles?
Charles and I had done several drawing collaborations. We draw alike. We're not the same, but we draw alike. Our style of drawing is similar. So
Similar.
our first our first collaborations were just me drawing on something and throwing it across the table, and he would draw something and shoot it back. And then if we were done, he would sign it and I would sign it. And we've probably done 25 or so collaborations on paper, like 8.5 by 11. But that one you had was the first one we published.
Okay, because that was the first one I ever saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
And
the
then
first
on
time
the back
people
of
ever,
that page is the
that was
other
the
one.
first
There's
time
another
people
one.
ever heard. Yeah, that was the second one. And that one I had started at his studio and left it behind. And maybe a couple months later, he sent it to me. He had already put something behind it, and then we published it. And so
Very nice.
the collaboration thing is alive and well in the Black art movement. It's not something people talk about a lot. But Charles has definitely been a pioneer in that. I have been. And we're introducing it to as many artists as we can.
This is one of my favorite pieces. I had my finger in it in the page, but here's another one. This is similar to one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was done for an organization, a multicultural office at a school. It's and they wanted something to do a unifying piece for and that also was one of the Raise the Arts pieces.
Oh.
And so that's the kind of projects I do. I mean, they wanted to do something that would bring attention to the multicultural aspect of the institution, and that's what I came up with for that.
Indivisible. And there's a group that I marched with in Bowie, and it's called Indivisible. It was coincidental that was the name of this one, but there's another one that you have that's similar to that is
well, the title for that piece actually came from the Pledge of Allegiance, so that's why the word indivisible was used. It talks about some of that, but we already know it didn't apply to us, really.
How about that? And you also do commissions.
Yes. I mean, every artist does commissions. Commission basically is somebody saying, hey, I want you to paint blank for me.
Right. But a lot of people don't
I hate
understand
that. I can't say I hate. That's a strong word. I can't say I hate.
Yeah.
People think because you have this ability, they can just ask you if you would paint their family. I mean, really?
Oh.
No, I don't want to paint your family. No, I know you think your grandchild's cute. I don't know. And then women, I'm going to say it, are the hardest customers because it got to be, if it's a fraction off, or you make her look too heavy, or you make her look too, so I don't like doing portraits as a whole. If you look through that whole book, there might only be 2 representations of actual people, maybe 3. But for the most part, I don't do portrait commissions. I have one that I'm working on right now, and it's been here. I won't even tell you how long it's been here, but I'm trying to get it done. Because I don't really do that. I do them, but I don't like them.
That part right there.
But if you're paying me, I like them. Yeah, I can pull you one down and show you what I'm working on. This is a portrait that a lady gave me of her sister who just passed away.
Oh wow.
And this is what I've been working on forever.
Oh wow.
So I'm about probably.
Well, to the untrained eye, it looks done. It looks amazing.
No, it's probably about 80%.
Oh wow.
But I've been working on this for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. Mostly because the client got on my nerves.
Okay.
We won't talk about that live.
No, because I can edit out some stuff.
Well, I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about editing. I believe the truth is the truth. So
this is my very favorite.
This is a typical example of what happens with a portrait. Now that piece right there on the bottom, I actually use models for.
That
So
is
those
my
are actual
that is
people.
my very favorite. Um, and I had a copy of this one time.
Oh, we won't talk about that.
No, we won't. But when I saw it, I was like, well, I'm gonna have to take a picture and make myself another copy. And
For those of you
then
that are watching right now, say what is going on behind the scenes.
no, we
I'm
we
gonna
gonna
go
leave
ahead
it
and
right
say it.
there.
They can edit it.
Now,
G Marie is the hardest person on artwork. Been
these are
knowing this
all my
girl
favorites.
for 50 years, and she's seen me go through all kinds of stages, and she saved everything I've ever given her. But storing it,
Yeah, I didn't know. It's like
G
not
Marie
knowing
holds a
what to do
couple
with
of
a pair of
records for
clippers.
me, and we won't talk about the records. But one thing is, she has bought me the most damaged art ever. But
Okay,
the
see,
fun
sir.
side of that is, I replaced everything for her, and she's doing much better now. But you know who you are out there. You're
Oh
in the
my
same
God.
position she is. You just ain't said nothing.
Yeah, and I think that artists should come with like fair warning, like when you receive this piece, I want you to make sure you do X, Y, and Z. If you don't do X, Y, like how I do with a client, you want lightener, you got to make sure you're doing this, this, and this. If I don't tell you what to do, your hair is going to be on your pillow. So my art, it was on my
But
pillow.
your thing is different. Because if somebody's follicles fall out, you're in trouble. You got to do that, right? For
Right, but
me,
I
it's
didn't know
not
my
like
art
that.
was being
We
ruined.
assume,
Yeah.
this is the assumption. Art is something that we assume requires care. And it may be, and it's considered fragile. All of them
Correct.
are considered
Very,
fragile.
very.
So same thing with your car. You can ride around all you want until somebody scratch your car, and then you understand what I'm saying. Art is like that. So you kind of, hey, take this home and make sure really, you want me to do that for you now?
I just want
So
instructions.
I've had people say, man, I got your artwork, man. I want you to see it when you come through town. If I'm being social, I go by their house. This man got his piece on the wall with a thumbtack going through the piece.
I wasn't that bad.
Through the piece into a wall. And he had a mat on it, which was partially, but the thumbtack went through the mat and the piece on the wall. Now, what
He
do you
didn't
say
know.
when you're in somebody's house? You know what I'm saying?
He didn't know.
No, he didn't know, but I can't tell you how many times I've been in people's houses where I had to bite my tongue and bleed down my throat because I was trying not to talk too much. One person I went to their house, oh, I really want you to see my work when you come to town. That's the thing that you say. So I would make time come by. I have a piece called Heaven Sent where he's flying down, and they framed it going up. Now, when you
the
buy
angel.
you buy it, you can do what you want. But that was the first time I went because they had it framed up nice. They had a nice little light shining. And I'm like, you just changed the whole meaning of the piece.
Oh, I know exactly the piece you're talking about with the angel.
Yeah. So
Very
we
nice.
never know what folks gonna do. And those things don't happen that often. But care. It's about care. Because it's also, when you think about it, this is something that's supposed to be passed down through generations. And how do you pass it through generations if it's falling apart?
You don't.
Yeah. I think the best adage you can do is to pretend like you're passing it down to the youngest member of your family, and then you'll do certain things to protect it. And it'll be automatic. You won't require instructions from me. Now that you've gone through this stage and you've been through that, because a lot of times people go through this too. Sometimes this stuff get damaged. Women's stuff get damaged more than men's stuff do. Men buy off the mannequin.